Well, welcome everybody, and thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Kathy Sheffers, and I'm on the marketing team at Goodheart-Willcox. I am joined by my colleague, Rhonda Dearborn, who is the acquisitions editor for early childhood education at GW. A few housekeeping items before we get started. You are in listen-only mode, but we definitely want to hear from you throughout today's session. Please use that chat box and question box to provide any feedback and ask any questions you have. We'll also have some time at the end of the webinar for a Q&A session, so you can save your questions until then as well. So we decided to do this webinar today because we hear from so many instructors about their curriculum needs who may or may not have heard about Goodheart-Willcox and aren't aware of the new resources that are available that could really save you so much time, engage your EC students, and prepare them for success as future educators. We're going to walk you through the GW story, share a little bit about the resources that are available today, as well as some new titles that will be available later this year and in the coming years. So we all have a story to tell, and the GW story is pretty special. Our mission is Together We Build Careers, and that speaks to the exclusive focus we have on career and technical education. Where other larger publishers might offer textbooks for English, psychology, and other large courses, GW has kept our focus on career education for over 100 years, giving us the ability to really partner with you and give your program our undivided attention. We are an employee-owned company, which means that we really operate as efficiently as possible and have a vested interest in everything that we do. We also care about your career. And we have recently expanded our professional development offerings to provide you some great instructional strategies that will benefit you and your students. Our authors are part of our team, and they are absolutely wonderful. They bring a mix of classroom and real-world experience as they create these resources. The content is research-based and aligned to NAEYC, DAP, and other pertinent standards, so you can be confident in the materials you are using from GW. Like you, we do our best to meet your students' needs, and that means a commitment to the availability of both print and online resources and student-friendly pedagogy in each of our resources. Finally, we want you to have the most positive experience from our whole team. When you work with GW, your program really is our priority. So thank you again for being here, and I'm going to let Rhonda continue to talk more specifically about our ECE story.
I want to thank all of you for joining us today. We know your time is so valuable, and we wanted to talk a little bit about how GW is investing in early childhood education and how we're so excited to be able to provide these new exciting resources. We have a growing list of resources for you and your students. You can see here on this particular product guide how we've organized how our titles map to the standard ECE curriculum. And a PDF flyer that you might have seen before if you've worked with one of our educational consultants. It might have been sent to you via email. This is the type of flyer that we hand out at conferences like NAEYC, and it shows how we're working to provide a total curriculum solution for early childhood education. And we're all very excited about our commitment to early childhood education. This particular slide shows you our current line of titles, with them all being published in the last couple of years. So our oldest copyright is 2024. We're continuing to develop these resources according to your needs. So please put in the chat some of the textbook needs that you're looking for, what courses you're looking to find new solutions for. We'd love to find that out from you. As you can see here again, these titles are mapped to the specific courses that are typically offered in a standard early childhood education curriculum. And that's really our objective, is to provide you a solution for all your core courses across the board. And this is our story. Kathy talked a little bit about the GW publisher story, which kind of dovetails with the ECE story because we're providing solutions that meet the needs of your students and what you're looking for in educational solutions. So what you see here in these color-coded boxes are all things that we've heard from you and your colleagues, people who have come and visited us at NAEYC conferences at our booth, people who have filled out our surveys and are attended our focus groups. And so we are listening to what you guys have to say. And what gives us the opportunity to do this is that these are all new first editions. So we have the opportunity to kind of start from scratch and create products that are meeting the needs of today's students and today's faculty. So the first one there is balancing theory with application with a focus on real world relevance. And that's so key. You're not going to find a lot of dry blocks of text, run-on text where students have to just read pages on end. We're showing how these concepts are applied to real world. Authentic, reflecting actual experience and experiential learning. That's a big focus too. Our authors are people like you that are teaching in the trenches, working with students, and have been teaching in ECE environments. So they're going to have real world, authentic, case studies, anecdotes, and we're inviting people from the field to also share their experiences and the students themselves to be self-reflecting in their experiences as they go through the program. Informed by research, being very up to date with trends like brain science. That's something that we're hearing from the market and we're incorporating into our textbooks. Trauma-informed care, that kind of thing, that's also being implemented in our textbooks where applicable. Again, streamlined, the purple box, streamlined, less blocks of text, beautiful designs with meaningful pedagogy and illustrations. We will talk about this in a little bit, but we've done various photo and video shoots in several different environments. So we have a lot of great photos that we're taking that are, again, authentic, real world, not just posed, and really beautifully illustrated textbooks with great designs to engage the reader. Written to the appropriate reading level and level of rigor for today's ECE student. I touched on this before, but we know not just ECE students, most students in post-secondary classrooms, they don't want to do a lot of reading. We don't want to assign them, 50-page chapters. So our books are written to the appropriate reading level, the level of rigor appropriate for these programs and for today's student who wants to be engaged. We're meeting the needs of all students. So our books are culturally responsive. We have recently done a photo shoot and a video shoot with at a site with exceptional children. So we have authentic pictures and videos that reflect all students, all children. We're aligning with standards, NAEYC, NAEYC standards, DAP standards, and we've heard that that's super important to you and your students. Our books are going to be updated, so currency is really important, making sure that our references are up to date, etc. And access to high quality video assets. That was one of the things we heard a market from folks like you at the very start of our publishing program, the germination of it, that people wanted to see high quality, authentic video assets. And we'll talk more about that in a little bit. And then price. We know that this is a very market. We know that the students are very price sensitive. Your faculty are very price sensitive on the part of the students. And so all of our books are around $100 or less. And so that's really important, and we wanted to speak to that.
Thank you, Rhonda. For our audience today, if there's anything else that's important to you, we'd love for you to add that to the chat. I know we covered a lot in these 10 boxes, but if there's anything else that's really important to you, we'd love to hear that from you today.
So yes, this is kind of where we are with our publishing program. This reflects some of the slide on previously, but what we wanted to highlight are the things in red here are things that are in development right now. We have a book on child guidance, a book on exceptional children that is coming out. Those two titles will be coming out later this year. They have 2027 copyrights. They will be publishing in 2025. And then we have two other titles that will be slated for next fall. One is for observation and assessment courses, and the other is for the infant and toddler course. And we're looking for reviewers. We'll be kind of hitting on that topic as we talk a little bit more. But if you're interested in reviewing some of these textbooks as they're in development, we'd love to have you participate. There'll be information later on how to contact us about that in this presentation, but we're looking for folks who teach these courses to give us feedback, and we do pay people to participate in these reviews. So if you're interested, we'll provide you with some information so you can reach out.
Awesome. So as I mentioned earlier, GW is really committed to giving you and your students the option of print and online. Some other publishers are moving to a digital-only experience, or the price of their textbooks is really, we feel, too high for today's ECE students. We hear all the time that many students like to keep their books as they begin their teaching experience, so print is often a preferred format. Others use the online options, either as an ebook or integrated into Canvas, Blackboard, and other learning management systems. But the main point here is that the choice is yours, and GW is committed to continuing to offer both print and online. Of course, as Rhonda mentioned, with the videos that are available, when you use the LMS integration with your students, they will have access to all the wonderful, authentic videos that were recently filmed. So there's definitely an advantage to some of those online resources. So I know some of you in your registration let us know the type of format that your students prefer, but if you want to mention it in the chat and share that today too, let us know if your students use print textbooks or online or LMS. We'd love to kind of hear what the situation is with our audience today. And then we are also, as we mentioned earlier, very sensitive to the affordability of our resources for your students. Here's a screenshot of pricing from our website for a typical ECE title. The top line here shows our list price for the printed textbooks. And as Rhonda mentioned, all of our ECE titles are under $100, compared with other textbooks on the market that are well over $100 and sometimes over $250. You'll also find that print textbooks are not always available from other publishers. So if you're looking for print, definitely make sure that the products you use are available in the format that you and your students want. GW is really committed to meeting your students where they are, which often means print textbooks at a good value. That being said, there are many GW online resources that are very affordable for your students, as you can see on the next couple of lines, and perfect for students who prefer that online format. And then finally, we always like to make instructors aware of our print and online bundles, which is that bottom line that you'll see on the screen. And they're really a fantastic value. As you can see here, that bundle price is just $4 more than purchasing the textbook alone, and gives your students the textbook plus access to all of the online activities and videos for a full year. So it really is the best of both worlds. And then we also definitely want to make sure you know that when you adopt GW textbooks for your class, you receive free online instructor resources, and they include lesson plans, answer keys, correlations to those standards that we talked about, PowerPoint presentations. And what I love about the PowerPoints is we offer them in two different versions. One is a plug and play ready to go, and the other is an editable version. So if you'd like to add your own creativity and specific information to the PowerPoints, you can take ours to get started and then add your own to customize it for your class, and as well as assessments and crosswalks and other interactive content for you. So I'll pause there. In case there's anything else we want to add, Rhonda, before we get into our overview of all the different titles.
Great. I just wanted to add that if you are looking for extra tools to assist you with teaching, assist you with what you're doing in the classroom, we'd love to hear about that feedback. Like Kathy said, we do our best to provide these types of tools, such as the crosswalks from your whatever textbook you might have been using in the past to help you create a new syllabus. But anything that we might not have thought of, we're interested in knowing what will help you down the road to implement these textbooks and make your lives that much easier. We're here to try to help you solve problems.
Yes. I wanted to just pause too and let you know that we have our ECE editor, Heather Preston, on the line with us today, which we're happy to have her in case you have any specific questions about any of the products that Rhonda and I are going to overview here for you. So feel free to ask any specific questions. And thank you, Heather, for being there to provide information to our audience today. So Rhonda, I'll let you get started with emergent literacy.
Yeah, and I do want to point out that Heather is our editor for most of our ECE titles, and she too is somewhat of an expert, having an advanced degree in early childhood education and having taught in the classroom as an early childhood educator. So we're very lucky to have Heather on our team, and I think that might help bolster maybe your confidence in our textbooks and that we have someone like Heather working on them in any case. So emergent literacy in early childhood education is one of our newest textbooks. And it goes through presenting the developmental stages of literacy from birth through age 5. It's informed by up-to-date research on how children learn to read, write, and speak from birth through age 5. This text presents the developmental stages of literacy in the chronological order and not organized by topic, so that's a different approach. The text is organized using a paired chapter approach to integrate theory with hands-on practice, with authentic vignettes, case studies, examples, lesson plans, and activities. The authors emphasize a culturally responsive mindset and engage readers in critical thinking about their own personal biases and assumptions before applying the knowledge to practice scenarios. These authors are really on the ball, really sharp, and the approach that they've taken has really resonated with a lot of reviewers. And so we really think this is going to be quite the hit. And we have on the next slide that kind of shares some of the feedback that we've received from a particular reviewer from Mississippi State University. I'll just read that for you real briefly. I love the approach, especially the description of the visuals, all of which sound terrific. The intention to explicitly connect to the ILA and NAEYC professional standards is fantastic, as well as the plan to connect to the Head Start framework. This is really useful for pre-service teachers to have done for them. This is a great scaffold for classroom discussion around where they see themselves in terms of readiness to. The plan for self-checks with this or that is something that would be very useful. I believe students would take advantage of it and could also be used for small group activities in class. So this reviewer was looking early on, and that's why she's saying the plan, but all these plans have been executed in the final product. And so that was that endorsement from this particular reviewer. And if you're interested, you can get a desk copy of this to determine if it's a good fit for your course.
Our other brand new title is Family, School, and Community Partnerships by Pradnya Patet. And this text encourages students to develop culturally responsive mindsets as they practice active listening, give mindful responses, maintain composure, and develop empathy. The author uses a nesting metaphor to emphasize the joint relationship of family, school, and community that shelters, nurtures, and empowers children to thrive from birth to age 8. The writing style is conversational, accessible, and inviting to today's students, and the relevant features in the text highlight experiences from the author's own broad-reaching international career. This is really a special book. Pradnya was at the recent NAEYC conference doing a book signing, as well as the emergent literacy authors. They're just special authors and have created these excellent titles for you. So I'm going to read a quote to you also from our Diana Reese from Central Ohio Technical College. Said that I really like the book, the way it's been organized to challenge students to explore their own mindset, make connections to current events, emphasize multicultural connections, share input from experienced teachers, make direct connections to real-world examples, and challenge students trying to incorporate these points into my current class. And I think that having a textbook that does all of this would be a wonderful tool. So thank you to Diane for that wonderful reviewer feedback. And again, as Rhonda mentioned, all the titles we're talking about, at the end, we're going to give you some direction as to how you can receive a sample if you haven't already. And also, if you have received samples of any of these books we're talking about, we'd love to hear any feedback from you in the chat as well. So feel free to add that.
And I want to point out that not only the last two titles that we talked about, the emergent literacy and family school community partnerships, we've done live presentations with the authors, and they are recorded and in our library of presentations that have occurred previously. If you're interested in hearing the authors speak directly about their own products, you can hear those too and see what they have to say about their own books. In this instance, this is the integrated for young children, embraces the approach of integrated curriculum, right? A different approach of teaching curriculum for early childhood education. Our author is Ginny Harmelink. She also did a presentation about integrated curriculum, her textbook and her approach, and so forth. So this text explores the richness and diversity that builds on developmentally appropriate practice in early childhood through an integrated curriculum, highlighting how two or more subject areas can be integrated into one engaging experience using backward design that includes daily learning plans, connections to state early learning standards, and authentic assessments. Through relevant examples, the text illustrates a variety of early childhood practices and reflects how teachers can implement true materials throughout the learning areas. And again, this is the only text, and I know Heather would say this too. Heather was the editor for this. This is the only textbook that really has that integrated curriculum approach that's really brief and really fits in with an ECE curriculum and not necessarily for an education program, right? For early childhood education, the integrated curriculum, it's really a unique book. And here's the quote that we have, Lee College. The content is written at the appropriate level for my course. Content is relevant to the early childhood field. NAEYC information is built in throughout. And those are some of the things that kind of fit in with our story that we talked about earlier.
Absolutely. And we also have a traditional curriculum book, depending on your needs for your curriculum course. The Developing Appropriate Curriculum for Young Children by Nancy Alexander informs students about best curriculum practices and how to build a learning environment that reaches each type of learner. Recognizing that children do not enter the classroom with the same abilities, experiences, or familial and cultural backgrounds, Nancy emphasizes that there is no one-size-fits-all approach to education. Expressly focused on creativity, this text helps early childhood teachers understand and apply developmentally appropriate practices to provide a safe, secure, and comfortable environment full of rich and playful experiences. I believe Nancy might be on the webinar with us today. So Nancy, say hello in the chat if you haven't already, and thanks for being with us. We're excited to share this quote as well from Georgia Thompson from the University of the District of Columbia, who said the major strengths include the organization of the textbook, including clear objectives and recurring themes on meeting the needs of children with special needs and children who are culturally diverse. The book also details the different content areas and points to key examples, real-world applications, etc. There are also photos and conceptual representations of certain concepts to facilitate understanding. So thank you to Georgia for providing your review, your expertise, and a quote that we could share with everybody today.
And that's my cue. So now we're going to be talking about administering and supervising programs for young children. This is written for current or future educators who want to become administrators for a child care program for young children from birth through age 8. The text provides information on organizing and administering an effective program, including budgeting, finding appropriate physical spaces, staffing, and curriculum development, with an emphasis on play as a key philosophy. The text also emphasizes the importance of using intellectual humility and compassion during constructive dialogues about complex issues such as anti-bias education. And these two authors are almost always at NAEYC. They're almost always at our booth interacting with interested in our textbooks. They're hilarious and they're fun and they're also super knowledgeable. So yes, let's look at the quote from one of our reviewers for this particular textbook. An excellent introductory text for all of our ECE students, specifically students interested in leading, directing, and owning their own ECE program. And that's Brandy Kendrick at Danville Community College. So yeah, a really exciting textbook. Again, something that's a bit different from some of the other offerings that are out there today.
Absolutely. So the next book up is The Developing Teacher by Carol LaLiberty, and it's written for future educators seeking to teach children 0 to 8 years of age. It's designed for a final semester practicum course for early childhood education. It's a write-in text that serves as a manual that guides students to apply what they have learned in previous courses to their classroom experience. Practical topics inform student teachers about professionalism and workplace roles inside and outside the classroom. And most importantly, the text takes a reflective approach to all major topics so students can determine the kind of teacher that they want to be. We just recently, a couple of weeks ago, did a webinar with Carol. I don't know if any of you were able to attend that, but we have that on our Goodheart-Willcox YouTube page if you'd want to go and look at that. And we can also, once again, share the recording with you as we did with your invite to the webinar. But Carol did a wonderful job really giving you a firsthand approach to the book. What's neat, Carol actually uses this book with her students. So the webinar was so special that she was able to give very much real world, real life examples of how the book was used and things that, you know, that she learned at teaching with the book, some really special strategies that she hadn't thought of that she was able to share with everyone in the webinar. So I definitely suggest you taking a look at that as well. And then the quote from Heather.
Yeah, and
oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I was just going to chime in there, Kathy, by saying that we know that for the practicum, there's not a lot of good resources out there that people that are offered from publishers that are up to date, current, and available in this format. So I just wanted to make that plug.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. We have many programs that are currently using this in their practicum course. It's been very popular. So if you are teaching a practicum course, I definitely would encourage you to taking a look at this one. Heather from Iowa State University said that this is a good text that can help student teachers transition from student to practitioner. The manual engages the learner by having them reflect and react to their current experiences. The topics are meaningful in real life. So thank you to Carol, the author, and to Heather, our reviewer, for sharing this with us.
So this is I think this is the last title that we'll be talking about, Child and Youth Development. This text is designed to help students understand human growth and development, including physical, intellectual, and socio-emotional growth from birth through adolescence. The text explores issues and trends in child development, encompassing family and work-related issues such as parenting, teen employment, balancing work and family and career transitions, with a sensitivity to promoting, initiating, and sustaining diversity, equity, and inclusion. The text encourages constructive dialogues about complex issues such as anti-bias education. And yeah, we have a quote from one of our reviewers here as well. I would describe this as a resource for future teachers and childcare providers to better understand child development and how to provide quality care that aligns with developmentally appropriate practice. I would describe the text as student-friendly and appropriate for students new to college-level work. This text seems like it would suit my career technical students well.
Wonderful. And then finally, we wanted to just give a really special shout out about the videos we mentioned earlier. Our video library has over 100 videos that showcase authentic examples of classroom interactions between children and instructors. Oops, sorry about that. The videos were filmed in 2 developmentally appropriate learning environments, a traditional learning center for infants, toddlers, and preschoolers, and a bilingual Montessori facility for preschoolers and school-age children. Featuring childcare best practices and effective classroom design, the videos provide your students with a front row seat to learning experiences and key ECE concepts as they occurred, unscripted in real learning environments. And I know Rhonda will want to add a little bit more because I know you're so excited about the videos.
Just wanted to add that we've done another video shoot and photo shoot at a facility, a site that has that caters to exceptional children. And so we will be adding those videos to the overall library this fall with the publication of our title for exceptional children. I know there was a question just now in the chat about how long the videos are typically. And Heather said they're anywhere from 30 seconds to about 3 minutes. So they do vary depending upon what it is that we're capturing, but they are all authentic videos. We're really not asking teachers to do anything or pose children to do anything. We're all looking for, natural assessment, natural opportunities for guidance and such. And all the videos, we do have worksheets that go with the videos so that the student in your classroom isn't just passively watching the video. They're asked to actually critically think and provide some feedback or ideas about maybe what they might do in a similar situation. We were able to capture so many great moments just serendipitously. At one time, there was an opportunity to capture children discovering nature outside. And just happened to happen. So it was just great. And the teachers that were on staff really interacted with the kids just with their perspicacity to kids right off the cuff. And it was just great learning moments that we were able to capture. I think it was a praying mantis, if I'm not mistaken.
It was.
Happened to send and the teacher was able to talk to the kids about this particular praying mantis and in real time, and we were able to capture it. So it was wonderful, a great teaching moment. That's just one example that comes to mind.
Wonderful. And then some of you indicated that you use open educational resources in your program. So we just wanted to address it today. We've had instructors come up to us at conferences and indicate that they really don't like using OER, but sometimes they're mandated by their school or by their administration to use it. And we generally like to speak to the 3C approach to educational resources when we talk about cost, completeness, and currency, and hoping that if there's any discussions that you're able to have with your administration, if you're kind of unhappy with OER and wanted to kind of justify or validate the reason for utilizing some of pre-created resources for you. We talk about cost. We said earlier about books being under $100 and the digital providing even a more affordable option for your students. And really, time is money. I know that there's a lot of educators that spend so much time searching for and developing their own resources from outside, free sources. But we've really done that for you when we talk about those instructor resources and the standard-based content and everything else. Your time is so valuable, and we hate to see you spending it on pulling in that type of information. And then there's always the cost of paper and ink when there's a lot of printing that's going on for your students. So something to consider there. And then completeness. It's so important to have a full package of resources for you and your students ready to go on day one with textbooks and videos and consistency across all of your courses so that your students come to expect the quality resources for them to learn in your programs. And finally, the currency. We all know that you can find URL links to different resources when all of a sudden those links are broken and no longer accessible, or research has been updated, or NAEYC and DAP standards have been updated. So just knowing that that you can be confident that the resources that GW offers are, we're keeping very current. We're making sure they map to the latest resources and standards, providing you those videos that accompany the text. So when you're working with emergent literacy, the videos are related to language and literacy. When you're working with family, school, community, the videos align with those topics. So we're super happy to be able to provide you those complete, cost-effective, current solutions, and just wanted to share that with you. If anybody has any discussion points about OER or how you might have to use it or anything else, please certainly add that to the chat as well. We'd love to learn from you. And now Rhonda's going to share some exciting news for the future.
Yes, so we have products in development. I kind of referenced this earlier in the presentation. We have exceptional young children and guiding young children. Both of those are set to publish later this year, this fall. And then Kathy, your slides went away. I don't know if you know that. We have two other titles that are in development that are set to publish in 2026. And one of them is an assessment title, and the other one is for infant and toddlers. And we are looking for reviewers. So yeah, if you're looking to participate in that going forward, I can see it now, Kathy. It must have been something I hit. I can see the slides. If you're interested in participating as a reviewer, we will be sending out material for review on the exceptional young child soon, the authentic assessments soon, probably in the next couple of months, and the infant and toddler years in the next couple of months. So we're looking for reviewers. As I said, we pay people who participate and to give us feedback, and we're looking for people who teach the course. And then future products. If you're interested in writing and want to find out more about it, we're going to be sharing my contact information as the acquisitions editor. That's my role, is working with authors to come up with the blueprint for ways we can publish products that meet the needs of today's students, like we've talked about today. So I'm looking for folks who are interested in health, safety, and nutrition, introduction to early childhood education. So if you're interested, please.
Wonderful. Thank you, Rhonda. We have some next steps for you. And really, it all starts with a free review sample. We talked about all the different titles today. You may have received samples already, but if you haven't and you saw something that you're interested in taking a look at, you can go to www.g-w.com/preview. That will take you to our form. You'd click on the Early Childhood Education tab, and then you can select the titles that you would like to review. Your samples will arrive to your inbox in 1 to 3 days, and that would be coming from our customer service department. So that's certainly an option. Rhonda, if you don't mind putting, if you haven't already, if you want to put that URL in the chat, that would be wonderful, and our audience can click right through there. You can also connect with your GW educational consultant. I think we have a couple of them on with us today. So I want you to know that they are so happy to help you with anything you need. If you haven't connected with your consultant yet, you can go to our website and find out who is representing your state. And that's g-w.com/consultant. They can provide you more information. If you need a print sample to review, they can help you with that. They can do an online demo. Rhonda and I really just scratched the surface about each of the titles just to give you an idea of what's available. They can go much more thoroughly into the titles and show you all the special features and benefits and the way it's organized and all of the activities that are included with those. They can provide you quotes if it's something you're looking for upcoming courses. They're really sort of your first point of contact at GW. And like I said, they're very happy to help you. And then finally, as Rhonda mentioned, if you'd like to engage with us, we'd love, having you share your expertise with us. If you'd like to become an author, a reviewer, be part of a focus group, there's all sorts of opportunities for you to engage with us. And a couple different ways you can do that. You can contact Rhonda, and we have her email address here, rdearborn@g-w.com. Or you can visit our Engage with Us page on the website, take a look, kind of see more about what's involved with each of the different areas of engagement. And then you can complete a form there as well to determine if that's something you'd like to do. But hopefully that answers questions as far as next steps. We're happy now to take some questions from you if you have any.
We did have a question earlier on, Kathy. How do we find the Carol L. Liberty webinar? And that was from Lisa Furman.
Oh, wonderful, Lisa. What I'll go ahead and do is, as a follow-up to the webinar, I'll share today's recording with you, as well as links to all of those webinars. Some of the emails you received earlier in the week might have had those links, but I'm happy to send it again. We also have a page on YouTube for Goodheart-Willcox, and we have our webinar recordings there. And then there's also on our website, we have them, but I'll go ahead and send all the attendees links so that you have an easy access to them. So thank you, Lisa.
Awesome. Any other questions from anyone? Again, I want to reiterate how grateful we are that you shared some of your Friday with us. Fridays can be tough sometimes. Maybe you just want the week to end, but we appreciate your time. And if you have any other questions, we'd love to answer them.
Absolutely. And Heather, would you like to just have it say any, you've been so great to be here as editor, and we love to hear from you as to just your overall thoughts or anything you'd like to share with our audience. Put you on the spot.
Would we have to unmute her?
Oh. All right, I just allowed your mic.
I think you can unmute yourself now, Heather.
Got it. Well, thank you, Kathy and Rhonda, for such an amazing presentation. And I just wanted to reiterate, if you want to reach out, you have any questions after this, please do. We're so excited about this line, and we really feel like we're offering something that is checking all the boxes what instructors have told us that they need. They need an affordable book. They don't want to do online educational resources. A lot of programs are mandating OER, and everything that we've heard from instructors for the most part has been that they don't like doing it. It's a lot of work for them. They, basically the program will give them a lot of different resources, and they have to use those resources to pull this and that here and there and create their own curriculum. Especially we get a lot of positive feedback about the videos because of that. Our videos were filmed in authentic environments, and they're all developmentally appropriate, and instructors like that. They like having that right there at their fingertips rather than having to go search YouTube. I know when my master's is an ECE, and in my program, instructors were showing YouTube videos, things, when we had questions about classroom management, child guidance, they'd find videos on YouTube to share with us. And it was always, okay, this one's not quite right because the kids are not the right age group, or, they had to kind of qualify every video they ever showed it because it wasn't quite right. Whereas our videos are quite right. They were designed to go along with the book. They're very authentic. So with our package, you get everything that you need right there. You don't need to put your own program together. We've done everything for you, and we're just very excited to offer it.
Thanks, you, Heather.
And Nancy Alexander just asked Kathy,
yes.
and I know you spoke about it. She asked, will this recording be sent out? Yes, it will be sent out to not only the participants that, the folks that were here live, but the folks who couldn't attend live, that maybe just had something come up. And I'm going to say again, I encourage you, share it with your colleagues. If you're part of a department with other faculty, please share the recording, forward our email with the recording. We'd love for more people to be able to listen and hear and see.
Absolutely. And then finally, I just want to mention that we did in your registration, some of you indicated you'd like your GW educational consultant to reach out to you right away. Some of you are making your decisions. So know that all of your information will be shared with your educational consultant, and they will be following up with you in the time frame that you indicated. So know that you'll be hearing from them. So if any of you have any immediate needs, you'll be able to let them know about that. So thank you again for showing up. We hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Last day of February today, so that's always exciting to turn the calendar tomorrow to March. So spring is approaching. So thank you so much.
Yes,
thanks, everyone.